Hello everyone. And welcome to the ValueGold channel, the place where we explore big questions in life. From spiritual matters to deep reflections about the world around us. In today's video, we're going to embark on an intriguing and thought-provoking journey. Who is God? This is a question that humanity has been asking for centuries. The major religions around the world each have their own unique conception of God, a supreme being. The origin of all things. And the object of worship for billions of people. But is it possible that all these gods are actually the same? Perhaps you've wondered, do the major religions of the world share a unified image of God? Do religions like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, and Buddhism all worship the same God? Or do they each have different views on the origin, nature, and purpose of God in human life? And beyond that, in these religions, what do we really know about God? Are there common themes that run through all these diverse beliefs? Or do they stand in stark contrast to one another? Is there room for doubt, or even denial, when it comes to the existence of God? How can we reconcile the presence of so much suffering, conflict, and contradiction in the world with the notion of a loving and all-powerful God? In this video, we're going to unpack these questions and dive deep into the concept of God across different religions. We'll examine the shared elements and the differences. And we'll also discuss some of the common critiques and counterarguments regarding the existence of God. But before we dive into the main content, we invite you to subscribe to ValueGold so you don't miss out on future explorations into thought-provoking topics like this one. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore the mystery together. Now, let's continue and dive into the heart of the discussion. Who is God? Really? Let's begin. Who is God? The question, who is God, is a fundamental yet profoundly deep question that humanity has pondered since ancient times. It remains a central theme in religious, philosophical, and spiritual discussions. To answer this question, we must embark on a journey of exploration, looking at the nature of God through various lenses. From major world religions to individual perspectives on the presence of a supreme being in the universe. Is God the creator? In many religions, God is seen as the creator, the origin of all life and the universe. But is this act of creation a simple event or an eternal process? How did God create this world? And for what purpose? This question touches on the nature of creation and the purpose of the universe. Especially from the perspectives of religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Is God love or justice? In Christianity, God is described as eternal love, 1 John 4 verse 8. A love that is vast and unconditional. But how does this divine love reconcile with the concept of justice? If God is love, why do we see suffering, pain, and injustice in the world? Is God's justice different from human justice? Or do they share common values? These questions challenge us to understand God's character, which, in various traditions, is seen not only as merciful but also as righteous and just. Is God all-powerful and all-knowing? The concept of God's omnipotence and omniscience raises further questions. If God is all-powerful and all-knowing, why does evil and suffering exist in the world? Why do wars, disease, and injustice persist if an all-knowing, all-loving being is in control of the universe? These are questions that many theists and skeptics have wrestled with for centuries. The tension between divine power and human suffering is a central issue in the problem of theodicy. Is God personal or abstract? Some religions view God as a personal being, a father figure with whom believers can have a relationship. Such as in Christianity and Islam. In contrast, Others, like Hinduism and Buddhism, may conceptualize the divine as more abstract, formless, or as a force of nature, rather than a personal deity. The question here is whether God is something or someone that humans can relate to personally, or whether God is more of a universal principle that transcends human understanding. What is God's purpose in our lives? If God is the Creator, what role does He play in our individual lives? Does God have a plan for each of us? Or do we have free will to choose our paths? Is God's purpose in the world merely to create? Or does He have an ongoing involvement in the lives of His creations? These questions invite us to reflect on the relationship between God and humanity, and whether we are part of a divine plan or if our lives are guided by our own choices. Is God the same across religions? Another question that often arises is whether the God worshipped in Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, and other religions is the same being or a different one. Are these diverse depictions of God merely different interpretations of the same divine essence? Or are they fundamentally distinct gods? This question challenges the notion of religious exclusivity and prompts discussions on interfaith dialogue and religious tolerance. In asking, "Who is God?" we are confronted not only with the nature of the divine but also with the profound implications for our lives, our understanding of morality, suffering, and the universe itself. Each religious tradition brings a unique perspective, and by exploring these, we can come to a deeper understanding of how different cultures and beliefs perceive the ultimate reality. This question is not merely theoretical, it shapes the very way we live, how we interact with others, and how we find meaning in our lives. It compels us to reflect on our values, our purpose, and our place in the cosmos. So, as we embark on this exploration, let's keep an open mind, consider different viewpoints, and seek deeper insights into the mystery of God's existence and nature. The question of whether God really exists or is just a figment of human imagination. The question of whether God truly exists or is simply a product of human imagination, created to serve the interests of rulers who use religion to dispel humanity's ignorance and maintain control, is one that has sparked long-standing debates in philosophy, sociology, and political theory. This is a viewpoint that thinkers, particularly during the Enlightenment period, critically addressed in relation to the relationship between religion, power, and social control. 1. Religion and power. One prominent theory about religion's role in society is the idea of religion as a tool of control. From this perspective, religion, particularly belief in an all-powerful deity, has been used by rulers as a means to maintain power and social order. This theory suggests that rulers have exploited faith in God to promote values, morals, and principles that help sustain their dominance. Religion as a psychological tool. Religious beliefs have often been used as a way to shape the minds and behaviors of the populace, by presenting the idea of a divine figure who demands obedience, moral conduct, and reverence. Rulers could secure the loyalty of their subjects. If people believe that a higher power is always watching and judging their actions, it can induce fear and encourage compliance. Religion, therefore, could be seen as a mechanism of control, ensuring that people obey both divine law and earthly authorities. Divine right of kings. Historically, many rulers claimed to have the divine right to govern, asserting that their authority came directly from God. This concept was particularly prominent in medieval Europe, where monarchs often justified their rule by claiming they were appointed by God, making any challenge to their authority a challenge to divine will. In this case, God was not just a spiritual figure but a political tool used to legitimize and solidify royal power. 2. Religion as a means to address ignorance. Another key argument is that religion may have emerged as a way to explain the unknown and provide answers to existential questions in times of widespread ignorance and scientific uncertainty. Before the advent of modern science and philosophy, human beings had little understanding of natural phenomena, the origins of life, or the cosmos. Religion, in this sense, filled the gaps in human knowledge, offering answers to questions about life, death, morality, and the afterlife. The need for meaning and comfort. Religion could be seen as a response to the inherent human need for meaning in an often unpredictable and frightening world. In the absence of scientific explanations, the belief in a higher power or divine being gave people a sense of control, purpose, and hope. It was comforting to believe that suffering had a reason, and that there was an overarching plan governing human existence. The role of religion in creating social cohesion. Religions often functioned as a unifying force in early societies, offering a shared set of beliefs, values, and practices that bound people together. These communal beliefs helped create order, reduce conflict, and establish norms within society. In this way, religion could serve not only as a tool for personal meaning but also as a way to maintain social stability and collective identity. 3. Criticism of religious control. While religion may have served practical purposes for both individuals and rulers, this view has been heavily criticized. The Enlightenment philosophers, such as Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Karl Marx, were particularly vocal in their criticism of religion as a mechanism of social control. Karl Marx famously described religion as the opium of the people, arguing that it was a tool used by the ruling classes to pacify and placate the oppressed. According to Marx, religion offered false hope, diverting people's attention from their real-world suffering and preventing them from recognizing and addressing the inequalities in society. Philosophical skepticism. Many philosophers argue that the belief in God, particularly in its organized religious form, is a human construct, created to make sense of life's mysteries and to provide a sense of structure. Some philosophers, like Friedrich Nietzsche, even questioned whether the belief in God and divine morality had outlived its usefulness, suggesting that as human beings developed greater intellectual and scientific capabilities, the need for religion to explain the world should diminish. 4. Is religion merely human imagination? On the other hand, some thinkers argue that religion, far from being simply a product of human imagination or manipulation, is a deeply ingrained aspect of human nature. The tendency to believe in higher powers or divine forces may reflect something innate in humans, a desire to transcend the material world and seek answers to life's most profound questions. Psychological explanations. From a psychological perspective, religion could be seen as an inherent part of the human condition. The human mind is often inclined to seek patterns and meaning in the world around us, and religion may be a natural outgrowth of this cognitive tendency. The belief in a divine creator or supreme being could be a psychological adaptation, helping individuals cope with uncertainty, mortality, and the complexity of existence. Sociological factors. On a societal level, religion may have arisen organically as a way to promote cooperation, morality, and social cohesion, while rulers may have co-opted religious institutions to maintain control. The roots of religion could be tied to a universal human desire to connect with something greater than oneself, to find purpose, and to make sense of life's challenges. 5. Conclusion. Ultimately, the question of whether God is merely a product of human imagination or a real, divine being transcends mere intellectual debate. It touches upon the deepest aspects of human existence, our search for meaning, purpose, and understanding. While some may view religion as a tool of oppression or manipulation, others see it as an essential part of the human experience, whether as a source of comfort, moral guidance, or spiritual connection. The existence of God, or the lack thereof, remains one of humanity's most profound and enduring mysteries. The seeming contradiction between the concepts of an all-powerful, omnipotent, all-knowing, omniscient, and all-loving, omnibenevolent, God. Question touches on one of the most profound and enduring challenges in theology, the seeming contradiction between the concepts of an all-powerful, omnipotent, all-knowing, omniscient, and all-loving, omnibenevolent, God, and the reality of suffering, evil, and conflict in the world. These issues have sparked centuries of philosophical debate, as many struggle to reconcile the nature of God with the harshness and suffering we see in the world around us. 1. The problem of evil and suffering. One of the most compelling objections to the idea of an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving God is the problem of evil. The argument is simple but profound: if God is truly omnipotent and omniscient, then he has the ability and knowledge to prevent all evil and suffering. Moreover, if God is omnibenevolent, if he is perfectly loving, then he would surely want to prevent such suffering. Yet, the world is filled with injustice, war, violence, and natural disasters. People are born into poverty. Disease ravages the innocent. And conflicts, often in the name of God, result in untold destruction. In this context, one might ask, if God is all-powerful and all-knowing, why does he allow such suffering to persist? Why are there countless lives lost in wars fought over differences in belief? And why does it seem that God does not intervene to stop this madness? How can we reconcile the existence of an all-loving deity with the suffering and chaos we see daily? If God is truly omnipotent, he could end all wars with a single thought. If he is omniscient, he knows exactly how to prevent every form of violence, injustice, and conflict. If he is omnibenevolent, he would care deeply for his creation and act to protect his children. Yet, the world continues to burn with hatred, division, and suffering. This presents a sharp contradiction between the nature of God as described in religious texts and the reality of the world we live in. 2. Why doesn't God reveal himself? Another criticism that arises is the hiddenness of God. If God is omnipotent, why doesn't he simply reveal himself to everyone? Why allow so much confusion, division, and ignorance in religious matters? Why is there no clear, definitive revelation that unites all of humanity? If God's power is limitless, why has he not revealed himself fully to end religious conflicts and establish universal peace? The fact that religions differ and that millions live in doubt about God's existence raises serious questions about his presence and intentions. If God is truly loving and desires his creation to be united in truth, why does he not make his existence undeniable to all? 3. God and the presence of evil. Your question also touches on a more unsettling point: if God is truly omnibenevolent, why does he allow evil to exist at all? The reality of human cruelty, the suffering of innocence, and the prevalence of injustice contradict the idea of a loving deity. Wars are fought, genocides happen, and every day, innocent people die due to violence, hunger, and oppression. If God is all-powerful and all-loving, why doesn't he intervene to stop these horrors? Is this not a failure of his love and power? Some argue that free will is the explanation. God allows evil because humans have the ability to choose. But this only shifts the question: why create beings with the capacity to do such terrible things in the first place? Why allow freedom to manifest in ways that lead to suffering and destruction? Is a world of suffering and death truly the best possible world God could have created? 4. God's justice and mercy. Finally, you raise an important point about God's judgment. Why does an all-loving, all-powerful God punish those who do not believe in Him? If God's love is unconditional, why does He condemn those who do not adhere to certain religious doctrines? Is God's justice compatible with His love? These are questions that challenge the very foundation of religious belief, particularly when viewed through the lens of an all-powerful deity who could, with a single act, resolve all conflicts and offer salvation to all. A God of inconsistencies? When considering all these issues, suffering, evil, wars, and the hiddenness of God, it's easy to be left with a sense of disillusionment. If God is truly all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving, why does He allow such profound suffering, violence, and injustice to exist? These contradictions can make the idea of an omnipotent, omniscient, and benevolent God seem not only implausible but even inconsistent. Some may even feel tempted to ask, is God a deceiver? Or perhaps a being whose nature is far more complex, or even darker, than we can understand? Is God a benevolent Father? Or a cosmic enigma, whose intentions are beyond human comprehension? These questions do not have easy answers. They are part of the mystery that has challenged thinkers and believers for centuries. The existence of evil, suffering, and the seemingly contradictory nature of God's attributes force us to confront difficult truths about faith, existence, and the nature of the divine. Yet, perhaps the pursuit of these answers is itself part of the human journey, an ongoing quest to understand the ultimate truths of life, existence, and our place in the cosmos. Ultimately, the challenge remains: can we reconcile the notion of a loving, all-powerful, and all-knowing God with the reality of our world? Or are these divine attributes inherently contradictory, rendering them incompatible with the human experience of pain, conflict, and injustice? As we have explored today, the question of, who is God, remains one of the deepest and most complex inquiries of human existence. From the nature of God's all-powerful and all-knowing attributes to the challenges posed by the existence of evil, suffering, and conflict, the contradictions that arise between God's supposed perfection and the harsh realities of the world continue to provoke thought and debate. Whether God is a divine being who embodies love, justice, and creation, or a concept shaped by human imagination and the need for control. The answers to these questions remain elusive and personal. Every religion presents its own understanding of God, and while they may share common themes, the differences are profound. Whether one believes in a personal deity or sees God as a more abstract or philosophical concept, the quest for understanding continues to shape our lives, beliefs, and even our societies. We encourage you to reflect on these questions and form your own perspective, as the search for truth is deeply individual and ever-evolving. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to the Value Gold channel for more insightful discussions like this. Hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos that dive into these profound and challenging topics. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye for now.